Well, the good news is my computer gave out before the server did.
Matt, did you crash?
Yep.
I was wondering. I had to go play my game instead. Are you still
Anyway, I'm
streaming or
back
not?
on right now, so
Being a butt. Big booty.
server up yet. Oh. Anymore. Alright, so I'm missing 2. So this is how we're gonna get my 2 back. And we're actually gonna go ahead and get 3 with this to make up for the lost time. And that's another nice thing about having your own server is, you know, if anything happens while you're playing and it interrupts your play, you can just be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make up for lost time and just die a bunch of shit. Don't know if I'm gonna make up for the XP because I would have to kill the horrors, and I'm not aiming to kill those. I could probably do this mountain actually. Anyways, I was saying they didn't invest into early mid game content as much as they should have, and everybody just completely lost any interest in early and mid game content because it was just always late game content that was being released. So they figured the solution to WoW's problem was to release more end game content, and it would have been easier on everybody. It would have been easier on the players and developers, everybody, if they would have released early and mid game content. Because that would have gave things, you know, uh, more replayability. Why can't I loot this? My server lagging? Let me see. Oh, it's because I'm mounted. Yuck. Oh, always that safe. Let that be a lesson. But one more and I'll stop dying. It's almost like we jumped in sync. It was kind of cool. Okay. Back to playing normally.
From 1 to 60, that now people can just pay to skip it. That doesn't seem very fair.
Yeah.
And even putting that aside, if the boost does come out, there will be those who won't buy it because they just lack the disposable income. So why
That's
is it
true.
okay that you get to buy the boost if there will always be those who can?
That is true.
If sacrificing gameplay for convenience is an objectively superior game design, then why does Classic even exist in the first place? It's the textbook definition
money.
of the game adapting to the player instead of the player adapting to the game, which is one of the major reasons people cite for quitting Current in the first place.
I think that's what happened though, is like the game is adapting to the player because the player adapted to the game, okay? Like this is meta. But like what I'm saying is that the player adapting to the game is people negating the leveling experience in classic WoW by just boosting characters.
Why did you have to die on top of each other?
The game adapting to the player is adding the boost, so that process is not necessary.
Hey, you can't argue the fact that the game became the giant that it is today.
Whatever.
Popularity because they kept this core design philosophy in mind. It was right around here is when the growth stopped and started taking a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
And maybe coincidentally, this is when we first saw the major cash shop services, the race change, and the faction change.
What this is like Wrath of the Lich King is like smoking weed in high school. It's like it's really cool while you're doing it, but as time goes on, you start doing, you know, like let's say somebody starts doing more drugs and, you know, things start going downhill. Now we're into Cataclysm. Right at the very end of Cataclysm, the new raid.
All right, we're done.
It's called Meth. And, you know, you get excited about that. It goes up a little bit. And then suddenly you find out, oh my God, you know, this fucking raid sucks. Jesus, this raid's really, really bad. And you get to the very, very bottom there, and you think, okay, we've got to find another raid that's even better than that. How about Heroin? And then, oh my God, you get a massive boost, and then it goes right down to the...
Since I crashed, I'm going to have to do another quest, because otherwise this stream's going to be retarded short.
I took the analogy way too far, but the point is that Wrath fucking was good in a vacuum, but the fucking things they did for the game in Wrath were bad for the game in the future, okay? Weirdest analogy? Yeah, well, halfway through the analogy, I realized that it sounded stupid, so I recalibrated it, and I said something else instead.
Not just that, but also the adoption
Oh.
of this backwards mentality.
Completely different guy.
Must adapt to the player.
I saved it, yeah.
Getting off topic here, back to the boost. I have a second question for you as well.
What?
Again, if the goal is the overall health in the game and to bring in as many players as possible, why even charge a fee for the level boost?
Okay.
If it were free, wouldn't that bring in even more people? Well, then it would really be broken. May as well not even have the Eastern Kingdoms in Kalimdor at that point, because it's straight to the Outland for 90% of the player base.
Oh,
But
you guys
somehow
didn't
this
see it. It's
arbitrary
40
dollar
million.
amount makes it okay, which is a lot to some people and nothing to others. One of the main issues I have is that you're creating an in-game advantage based off of a real-life wealth disparity.
Oh, he's at an
Since
outpost,
introduction
okay.
of In-game cash shops, since in-game cash shops have existed.
That is true.
I see it, I
Who
think.
thinks they're going to do the WoW token in TBC? 1 in chat if you think they're going to do WoW token, 2 in chat if they won't. I'd say we're looking at about 80% once. Maybe, now maybe like 75, 80, 70%, somewhere around there. Gold buying is really bad at the moment. Well, hey, the WoW token is a lot easier than actually doing your job. and they fired the people that do those jobs. So probably gonna do the WoW token.
And for my next point, although it is restricted now, how long is it until we see that maybe it's not?
That guy's supposed to be walking through the water right there.
Maybe it takes you to 70 now instead of 58. I mean, if you skip 57 levels, why not 69? You know what, guys? BC Classic has been out for 6 months at this point. It's not that big of a deal. Why is this level boost still restricted?
Yeah.
While we're at it, let's just bring out the race change and faction change early. Dang, these bots are a real big problem. I don't know how, but ever since TBC launched with the level boost, things got really bad. Surely
Yeah.
being able to start from level 58 had no impact whatsoever on the massive botting problems the game has right now.
I think also, you know, you can, like, this is clearly a slippery slope analogy and, or fallacy, excuse me. Now, slippery slope fallacies are really interesting because they're not always fallacies, and they're also used in many other like cases. Like, you have like a salesman has the idea of getting your foot in the door. Like, this is a codified technique that salesmen use that follows the same paradigm as the slippery slope fallacy, but it actually does work, and it's something that many salesmen use. So I don't really think.
Don't
that
I already
people
have
who
some
use
of their
slippery slope
claws?
fallacy are necessarily ever wrong or right.
No.
But whenever you're using something like this,
Uh,
it's definitely important
lame.
to look at how realistic is the extrapolation of the original event going to be. Do you see what I'm saying? So like for example, like how much can you extrapolate out of that original event to say, oh, this is going to be where we're going to end up?
I hope that Blizzard brings out the WoW token so players can buy gold from them instead of bots, because that always does a really good job at stopping botting.
Wait, look at
Current
that.
has 0 issues with bots.
Wait a minute. That's me. Look at that.
A big issue I have with the boost is
That was actually such a good fucking stream. Like, boys, that was so good. I cannot get, dude, that was such a, I remember, and then they started getting rid of them. Oh my god. I was so happy that day.
necessarily even the boost itself, but rather what it'll eventually lead to.
Yeah, I
If you
think
let
that's
your
reasonable.
standards slip slowly but surely, I really wouldn't be surprised if we saw a WoW token in Classic at
Don't
some
they have
point.
WoW tokens in
Releasing
Classic?
the level boost gives tacit.
Don't they have WoW class? Don't they have WoW tokens in Classic WoW in China? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's absolutely not a. I don't think that's really much of a slippery slope either. I personally don't think so.
approval to put anything on the cash shop. Hey, the people want to buy things, so let's give it to them. You see this with their cloning method of moving from vanilla to BC.
Yeah, that's actually a
Without
really good
paying,
point.
you can choose to continue your character to BC or move it to a classic era server. But if you pay money, you can do both.
Yep.
Why does this cost money? Well, to make money, of course, but more importantly, the more minor cash shop services you slip in slowly but surely, the more receptive people
to
are to them.
normalize it.
Like, just think about it. How do you implement
TBC streamers on Twitch and YouTube. I'm sure that's a very healthy thread. I think also another element of that is like, if you go back, let me look at this again. Give me 1 second.
first, but more importantly, why does this cost money? Well, to
I
make
think that the reason why it costs money is the same reason. I forgot what I was going to say for a second. The reason why it costs money is the same reason why faction transfers and server transfers cost money. It doesn't really cost Blizzard $30 to do this, but the money there is being added as a barrier to entry, so people don't just do it willy-nilly. And I think there's an argument to whether that's a good idea or not, but I think that's actually the reason why Blizzard has it at that price, is to create a barrier to entry to where people don't do it all the time. And also, I think with this, the simple reality is that they don't want to have to spend a lot of money on these classic-only servers, and that's why they're making people pay money to transfer characters over to them. It's just so they can make more money because you're transferring the data. I really think it's that simple.
money, of course, but more importantly, the more minor cash shop services you slip in slowly but surely, the more receptive people are to them. Like, just think about it. How do you implement cash shop services into a community that isn't very receptive to them?
Yeah.
You slip them in, make them very minor,
Yep.
have these restrictions, so you generate a certain amount of people who will do your work for you and try to convince everyone that it's this minor thing. You slowly but
Yep.
surely increase them in their severity until you're at a point where you can buy anything. You may see that as a pretty pessimistic statement. I see it as just paying basic attention to the past 15 years. The level boost,
That's literally what
WoW
they've done.
token, race change, faction change services didn't just magically appear in current World of Warcraft in some
I think they should have never let you faction transfer.
patch. They were gradually
was a
slipped
mistake.
in there one by one as people slowly let their guard down. And now we're at a point where the only thing you can't buy in the game is raid progression. And even that is a gray area because people will sell carries for gold. And obviously you can buy gold with the WoW token. Also, as a little side note, when searching for groups in current, I find it pretty funny
Well, it's
that
not like that anymore because we took care of those bad boys, didn't we, boys? Yeah, we got rid of them. 200k for cutting edge? Is it really only 200k? There's no way it's only 200k right now.
at least 50% of the listings are done by real-life money boosting services.
Oh, they all are.
I was curious, and I checked out one of the actual websites, and they have a section on why you should boost. And it's so funny that this TOS unfriendly paid service website's reasoning for boosting is remarkably similar to Blizzard's and the pro boosters' reasonings for bringing out the level boost.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. The same thing. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, no shit. Also, if you ever think about using one of these websites, really be careful about doing it because these websites are, I mean, they usually take advantage of the people that are actually doing the sales, and they will also take your data and sell it. Like these websites have like no ethics at all. So if you give them any information at all, they will take that information and use it against you in whatever way possible. So be really careful with using these websites, and not just for getting your account banned, but also for them taking your personal information and misusing it. Like Facebook and Google and Amazon. If you really want to, no, it's completely different, man. Like, I understand that, like, yeah, Facebook and Google, they do privacy invasion, but at least they pretend like they're not. These people don't even pretend. They don't even care. It's like two different universes.
So why should you buy World of Warcraft boosting services? Come on, guys, the answer is simple.
Yeah.
You'll save tons of your time and make the game more enjoyable. Let's face it, farming/leveling is a time-consuming and tedious activity.
Jeez,
Since the early days of vanilla,
So
players
true.
have dreaded spending countless hours doing the same things over and over to get pets, achievements,
Yep.
and mounts.
Very true.
Wait, achievements in vanilla? I call bullcorn. Here at Censored Website Name, we don't think it's the best way of playing the game. That's why we've started the Professional WoW Carry Company to give you more time to play the game how you want.
Professional WoW carry company.
This is
That's
just hilarious. So this isn't okay because you're paying some third-party website.
Good. Yeah.
It is okay and apparently the best idea in the world, but only if you're paying Blizzard. That's just amazing to me. Okay,
Yeah.
not okay. Okay, not okay. In fact, I think that would be a fun game. Just take excerpts out of Blizzard's FAQ and this website and show them to people and have them get...
That's dirty. Like, this is, I never even thought about this. Yeah, that is pretty fucking funny. I never even thought about it like this. I've never seen this this comparison made before.
Yes, who's saying them? Wait a second here. I thought that if Blizzard sells you all of these services, that means websites like these don't exist. Why do they populate 50% of the listings in the group finder? Why are there so many YouTube videos of various gold farming bots in Shadowlands?
Oh, you dick sucker. And it's a paladin, of
Do you think
course.
saving the integrity of your game by compromising it yourself isn't as effective as people claim it to be?
Well, they can't ruin the game because we already did. They can't do anything now. Can't ruin it if we already ruined it. Problem solved.
The bottom line is, the whole point of Classic was to go to a time before cash shops dominated the game.
That's true.
It's my personal theory
That is
that
true.
they thought that Classic would just be this minor thing that isn't worth monetizing. You see that with them only releasing like 10 servers at launch. Then, oh shit, the people who are fighting to the death that Classic
Time
is
to take
dumb
another
and no
nap.
one would actually play it were wrong. Who would have thought?
This is such a good day, man. Like, I remember, dude, the lead up to Classic WoW was actually like the fucking best time ever. It was so cool. Like, everybody was playing together. People would always play the game, and you had like these stress tests that literally everybody would log on to. Oh my god, it was so fun. Like, I'm not the only person that fucking remembers that, right? People called it vanilla. Yeah, it was great. Invite to Asmon Lair.
There are actually a ton of people who play it. There's a lot of money to be had here.
Dude, I remember this.
Look,
My dad
these
even
guys
saw this
hate
video.
cash shops. How do we sneak this in here? I know, let's just restrict it and use this new player.
Well,
How do we...
the character boosts are not keeping classic. We don't want to break in. Well, it's not classic. It's TBC. it's TBC classic, which means it's not classic. I mean, come on. That's two completely different things, guys. Come on.
Sneak this in here. I know, let's just restrict it and use this new player as a straw man to see how receptive people are to it.
Yeah.
One of the main issues I have with it is that they're using this poor, downtrodden new player as an excuse to bring out the boost, yet it's available for purchase by literally everyone.
New players.
And people either...
The lazy fucking casuals, man. I agree with exactly what he's saying here. Personally, I really do. Again, I said, strong encouragement for boost is like, the community of like classic WoW and everything. But the fact is that, like, if you're paying a mage to do the boost, you are still injecting money into the economy. You're still playing the game. You are still playing your character. There is an interaction that occurs, even if it's like really, really minor. And I think paying a mage for a carry is
So the
not
prayer
the
request
same
that we've been getting from
as
Bertrand,
buying a boost directly from Blizzard.
I guess Pam passed away.
I really
this
think they're
morning.
completely different.
Pam?
Yeah.
Who's Pam?
I can't remember. Sounds really familiar. Part of me's thinking it's the one lady that went to Florida. But I can't remember if that was her name or not.
I don't know.
They're
Somebody
two
might be able to remember
completely
her name.
different things. Even though
I feel
they're
kind of bad for
all
not
the
knowing, but
same, I just think that they're totally fucking different. It's worse, dude. Of course it's worse. I do think it's worse. But the point is, like, obviously the outcome is the same, but the impact is completely different.
A, don't see that, or B, they're just willfully ignoring it because they want a 58 without putting in the time to get it.
To be honest,
The
I
slippery
want a
slope
58
argument
without
is
putting in the time for
overused,
it.
But it's overused for a reason.
Yeah.
Just because it's true. I've been playing since March of 2005.
I can't wait to boost my
I've been down
paladin.
this road before,
It's gonna be great.
and I know where it leads. I remember when they
Yeah.
first released the Lil KT and Pandrin pets in the cash shop in Wrath. The players were worried that this will lead Blizzard down a path where players can pay for an advantage. We were told that would never happen, and look at it today.
It did. Yeah, I mauled it out over the, I did that. The Celestial Steed was, like, my first recorded mauled out was over the Heart of the Aspects, right? Like, the Heart of the Aspects was the, that was the big one. But, the Celestial Steed, I was really pissed off about that, too. Like, I genuinely felt like kind of betrayed back in Wrath whenever they did that. And I didn't really make videos a whole lot then or talk about the game then. So
Oops.
I never really talked to anybody about it. But I remember it did feel like it felt like it was fake. Because, like, before then, everything that you saw in the game, somebody earned. But at that point, I guess besides TCG, I mean, TCG is also another gray area too. But I don't know, like, just being able to buy the mount like that, it just felt wrong to me.
Hell,
Now
we
you're
were told that
accustomed
there
to
would be
being
no
fucked in
level
the
boost in
ass.
Classic just over a year ago.
Yeah.
Gee, that lasted long. What, is TBC not Classic? I'm confused here. So when I'm told
It's
that,
TBC class.
oh, it's only to 58, oh, it's only usable once, I have a pretty hard time believing it. I don't have a problem with Blizzard making money. They are a business.
Yeah.
I just think that they make it in ways that are destructive now. They created the best MMO
I
of all
agree.
time, where it peaked in popularity with zero cash shop.
True.
In the context of a recreation of that game, these services have no place until they were a For example, I wouldn't have a problem with the race change and faction change in Wrath because,
I would.
after all, that's when they were released. I still don't care for them.
I think faction changes are terrible for the game.
Yeah, there ain't
I
nothing.
really think they should have never let you do that.
Hmm?
In my opinion, I think they should have never let you even race change.
There ain't nothing. Indeed. It's all in South Bend
I
or
video like 10 years ago, Karen. What do you mean?
something along those lines.
Yeah, I guess like faction change I really feel strongly about. Race change is like just me, you know, it's my opinion. Faction change I do actually really feel like was harmful to the game.
But I don't have much room to talk there. Like, can we just acknowledge that World of Warcraft is the most monetized game of all time? Let's just take a look at the different payment models for games
here we
today.
go.
You have your typical upfront purchase.
True.
Typically this is $60 for a full retail release.
Unless
Maybe
you're
later
buying
you have
Cyberpunk.
some DLC that you can buy at an additional cost.
Yep.
You also have the free-to-play games where there's no actual required cost to play them.
Yep.
Instead, they make their money through a cash shop. They range in severity. Some are purely cosmetic. Some give clear advantages over those who don't use it,
Yeah.
commonly referred to as pay-to-win. And lastly, you have subscription-based games. Of course, these are commonly MMOs. A lot of the times the game is free, but you just pay.
Do you guys think battle passes and like FPS games are basically subscriptions? I was thinking about this. Yes, I think they kind of are. Like, obviously it's not the exact same. I've never bought a battle pass in my life, but I do think they're similar.
Pay a monthly subscription to keep playing it.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft has all three. You pay for the expansions, you pay the sub fee obviously, and it has a pretty substantial cash shop where you can buy pretty much anything.
For a lot of
Like I
money.
said, even raid progression due to the advent of carry runs. Current is current, whatever. I used to complain about it, but people told me to just quit if I didn't like it.
True. Wait, oh
So
my.
I did, and guess what? I wasn't
World of Warcraft player numbers dropped by 41%? What? Yeah, damn. Like, I saw there's a Belluar title of that. I assume that was like bullshit. Is it not? Maybe I'll watch that, like, I don't know. I'll watch it later. Okay.
So I did, and guess what? I wasn't alone. But
Yep.
the whole reason why Classic exists is, again, to go back to a time before it dominated the game.
Yep.
And again, Blizzard saving the integrity of their game by compromising it themselves doesn't seem to work out very well.
No, it doesn't.
So at this point, you probably are calling me a pessimist.
Yes.
But again, I just call it paying attention for the past 15 years.
True.
You're treated based on how you've acted in the past. And I'm sorry, the history is there. So if you're getting heated at me for saying these things, just keep in mind that I wouldn't be saying them if Blizzard didn't do them in the first place.
I
So-
just remember remember that speech I gave? Do you remember that speech I gave, poll the chat? I was in ICC whenever they first announced Classic WoW, and about like how I didn't want them to change shit. Poll who quitted? Poll who did quitted. Okay, I will poll who did quitted real quick. Are you actively playing Shadowlands? I'll let you guys, I'll check it in like maybe 5 minutes, okay? Because it's like a little bit slow.
He's dead.
The next time you go and try to convince people how minor the boost is and how
Yeah.
restricted it is, take a look back at the past 15 years and ask yourself a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to convince other people, or are you trying to convince yourself?
Ooh, turn it back on him. Turn it back on him. Use that psychology. I
I'd
love
just
it.
like to bring up the point that it's just paying to skip content.
Yep.
Leveling is such an important thing in MMOs,
Crash?
classic
Yeah, yeah,
MMOs
you guys figured it
especially,
out.
and to be
Mod,
able to
just link
skip
it again.
even once has this butterfly effect that f's up so many other things.
Actually, fuck it.
Now,
Just do a
before we
Twitch poll.
finish
Oh, as an echo, okay.
what
Just do
you're
a Twitch poll,
saying,
guys.
Leveling in classic isn't a
Yeah.
big deal because people pay
Thanks, Mod.
mages to power level them anyways, which does happen. For those who don't know, there's something in classic called power leveling, where basically you pay a mage to run you through a dungeon,
Mhm.
and they just AoE everything while you sit at the entrance, AFK, and collect XP.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like a very healthy or natural way to level.
Because
so
it's not.
people use this as a reason to bring out the level boost.
This is-
because we're not
yeah.
losing much, right? I'd like to address this first because it seems to be one of the bigger reasons that the pro boost crowd pushes. I have two problems with this take. First is power leveling is nowhere near as bad as a paid level boost.
Yeah, like, I mean, paying the actual company itself to artificially increase the level of your character with real, by giving them real money is a totally different universe in my mind than paying another player to help you level in a dungeon. Like, that's totally fucking different. So, let's see what the poll is here. We have the fucking main one, 54% is at I quit Shadowlands. And I don't play WoW is at 15%. I'm playing now is at 31. So most of the people that are fucking
I don't know where
watching
these
this
flesh
stream right
eaters are,
now,
but
like fucking 70% of the people that are watching
they
this
should
stream right
probably
now
just turn up.
don't even fucking play WoW anymore. God damn, guys. I'm leveling alts in Classic. Yeah, I was thinking about leveling a Mage alt or something like that. Like, I actually kind of do want to level in Classic. Like, I feel stupid, though. Like, I want to level in Classic WoW the normal way because it's more fun. But, like, there's so much ganking and shit on my server that I feel like that wouldn't be fun. And then also, every time I'm leveling and it's, like, taking me a while, I just feel like I'm stupid for not taking advantage of the boost because of how much easier it is.
For starters, it still takes time and money. The people who power level are players who already have a main character on the server, or those who buy gold, who should be actioned, by the way, because, you know,
shit
against
in
the
their
rules,
mouth.
and rules exist for a reason. A new player, which is the target primary demographic for the level boost according to Blizzard, can't afford to pay someone to level them from 10 to 58, thus leveling remains to be an important thing that they must progress through just like everyone else. Number two is that
That's not worth the
agreement
poll.
that power leveling and the resulting emptier world and emptier leveling experience is such a big issue. Why would we destroy any chance of restoring it by giving people the option of paying real life money to skip it? It's a contradictory argument.
That's actually, I really agree with this. The poor state of leveling is important enough to me to use it as an excuse to bring level. It's not as important enough to actually fix it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the leveling boosts are like a solution either.
There will always be people.
It's kind of weird that there's no one here.
Even if mage power leveling didn't exist.
True.
There will always be a fastest method, but even if everyone was naturally in the world, as they were in 04 to 07, there would still be those willing to pay to skip it. And I guarantee you that they existed back then because I played the game back then. However, they were stonewalled back then because it wasn't designed around a level boost, and I'll provide many examples of why in this video. Leveling has become more of a minor thing in modern MMO design, but players who want that have modern MMOs to play.
That's right.
I thought the whole point was to go back to a time before the modern MMO. Some changes, such as the pre-nerf bosses for increased difficulty, I can understand. As players grow in skill and knowledge, they have to adapt to recreate that experience. But a level boost to me isn't adapting to anything. It's trading money for time for those who want something, but don't want to put in the time to get it.
Exactly.
If you see dungeon power leveling as a big enough issue to use it to rationalize a paid boost, you're not interested in the betterment of the game. You're just interested in fast-tracking yourself because a paid boost doesn't solve the problem. It avoids it. Some people say that dungeon power leveling will be fixed since TBC introduced the AoE cap. Blizzard noticed how powerful AoE was back then, so they limited the total overall damage of several AoE abilities.
Yeah, it caps at like 20.
I personally don't think that itself would fix it because they missed a big one, and that's the Paladin's Consecrate.
Yeah, Consecrate.
I think that it would.
The Consecrate is not AoE capped, and neither is the flame effect on the ground that's left behind after Flame Strike. Because it's not technically an AoE ability, it's like an area that just deals damage. It's like a degen area. Dude, I watched this video on, remember those fucking 4x3 monitors at Jeff's house while we were laying in the bed together, thinking about how we were gonna roll paladins and power level each other in dungeons, dude. Like, honestly, WoW Hobbs was such a huge, like, he was like the guy. I remember watching his videos all the time.
Require further attention, such as an XP nerf when there's a high level disparity within the party. It is already reduced, but clearly with the strategy of these dungeon runs, it's not enough.
Yeah.
This would be another change, of which there are many with TBC Classic, that would bring the game closer to what it was back then, not further away. My take is that if one truly cares about the leveling and the old world, this is the route that you go down. I do think that some people overstate it and they make it out like literally everyone dungeon power levels to 60. That's just not true. In fact, ever since the announcement of TBC Classic, natural world leveling has seen a resurgence. People are...
Is that really true? Like, I should actually go on to Classic myself and see. Because I don't know. Are people actually going out and leveling on their own? Because if they are, maybe I should do it myself. I think that'd be really fun. I'd like to level a new character in Classic. Not really. On some servers, yes. I'll look into it after this if you guys remind me.
leveling characters in preparation for the Burning Crusade, which, spoiler alert, that's how the game was designed. And
Yes.
guess what? This all
Wow.
disappears as soon as you release the level boost.
Mhm.
I just don't get the argument that leveling isn't a big deal because no one is out in the old world. So let's introduce a paid service that further reduces the amount of people in the old world. Can we all agree
That
that a
solves the
paid
problem.
boost is the definition of rubbing salve on a tumor? If there's an issue with leveling, we should fix the leveling, not introduce a way to pay to skip it. That's the most destructive game design I've ever heard in my life. Like I said, the community at this point is open to changes, and if
Yeah.
we truly care about the leveling experience in the game, we would address the disease rather than the symptoms. And not to stay on the same subject too much, this video is
A lot of
not
crocodiles
dedicated
out here.
to dungeon power leveling. I just have one final point here though, because again, this is the most common argument I see to bring in boosts. My last point is the fact that the two of them are just inherently different.
I
Power
agree.
leveling ultimately is a service. You're paying someone in-game currency to do something for you in-game. You see this all the time with people selling tanking services. Some industrious players notice
You
the
son of a
growth in the
bitch.
games.
Yeah, of course, that's what you do, right? Is like if you're a tank and you've got full fucking, like imagine you've got like fucking max gear. And like what's your max block value with fucking tier 3? It's like what, 400 or something like that? Like you can literally go into most of these dungeons, you don't even fucking need a healer. And you can just do whatever the hell you want. That's what's so good about this. I know nobody's literally paying attention. Is anybody even watching watching the video? Like, holy shit, guys. What is wrong with you? God. Oh.
They offer their tanking
I knew
services
this
and
Boogle was
knowledge
a
of
mistake.
dungeon in exchange for gold.
What video?
People will sell summons for gold to save
Yeah.
time for others. And while these services themselves are up for debate,
Yeah.
the fact that it's an
Okay, I
option
figured
for
it out.
players is a natural and healthy part of the economy. And while I do think that power
Part of me
leveling
wants to
is
spawn
bad
some of
for
these
you,
over there,
at
but
least
I'm
it's
not
a
going
service
to.
that you buy from another player
I agree.
with in-game currency.
I agree.
You're not swiping your credit card
Giving
and
them
paying
real life
Blizzard to
money.
skip a core part of the
completely
classic
different.
MMORPG genre. Fixing the leveling instead of neglecting it would do so much good for the game at the same time because it helps with another issue,
Yeah.
and that's botting.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
You're not who I want.
Classic before will tell
Yep.
you that one of its biggest problems is botting. They're everywhere.
You are.
Whatever Blizzard has been doing for all of Classic has not been enough because they're pumping an absolutely ridiculous amount of gold into the
I can say thank you, bots, because having to pay like fucking 400 gold for my flask back in like, you know, mid BWL or like AQ whenever they pretended to care about it for a little while, that was so bad. Like the bots, it's great, dude. It's fucking great because I can actually, like on Farlina, it's so disgusting that even now, like how much is a mongoose? It's like, it was like 8 gold last time I checked. It's so stupid.
economy.
You sounded like such a fairy just now.
Down there.
Third-party gold selling websites.
It used to only
is
be like
bad,
3.
and the
That's
level
like so
boost is even
stupid.
worse. Let me explain why. One of the puzzling things about bots, people will often
Completely
tell you
normal
is that
players, by
they're
the way.
so obvious. Gee,
Totally normal.
there's sure a lot of guildless hunters with gibberish names running around. Here's a pretty popular spot in Duskwood on my
Yeah.
server. If you go here, usually you'll find a bot, and you can tell instantly. They repeat the same exact patterns,
Uh-huh.
snap to enemies. So,
And then he
if they're
walks in
obvious,
and out.
then why
Look at
they're
that.
also so plentiful.
Oh my
I'll tell
god.
you one of the reasons at least. Because of power leveling, there aren't enough people out in the world to find and report them. I don't think it's a coincidence that when power leveling
Maybe we should go on like a botting fucking expedition
Oh.
in Classic WoW and try to find bots and just report them too. Maybe that's the that's the goal. And we just like go out and we try to find them, and instead of like killing them, a crusade. Yeah. You guys like that idea a lot. Maybe we should do that. That'd be really funny. And Classic's a snooze fest. Well, that's the thing, is these people are asleep. We gotta wake them up. We gotta make sure they ain't sleep. They're probably, honestly, that dude is asleep. He's sleeping while this bot's fucking leveling it for him. He's killing tigers while this dude's jacking off on his other computer.
Started to become a norm. That's when the bots started taking over. Bringing out a paid level boost doesn't bring more people out into the world, it takes them away. So now my idea of nerfing dungeon power leveling sounds a bit better, because not only are you bringing people back into the world this way, but you're also recruiting more boots on the ground to actually report them and ban them before they do any significant damage.
I like that.
I'm not saying you would catch every bot.
I like that. That's
There are
smart.
bots that level through dungeons, but there's still a
Fuck.
ton of
Harder to
them
do.
in the old world, and you'll find them.
I should have channeled my
None of this happens if the level
evocation a lot sooner.
so many people to just skip past all of this. And if these people
I'm
would-
pretty sure if the Tiger team was in charge of this, what they would do is they would change the way the rotation of right-click report. So like instead of it saying cheating at the bottom, they'd put cheating.
I just need 3 more, so.
and that would make it easier for them.
You ready for bed?
Team would do.
otherwise not play if they
It
were
would take them
forced
6
level
months,
through
by the way.
old world. What kind of gameplay experience
Yeah?
are you creating here?
Who'd you ask?
Everyone just skips straight to
Are you ready for bed?
Exactly.
Bots continue to run
Where's
unchecked.
that coffee
Nobody
pot,
cares
dude?
about the
Don't
other
fix
world.
Go do it.
gambling, we
I'm
ignore
killing 3 more mobs and then I'm going to bed.
Let's tackle the more obvious issue.
What?
If you think that they're bad now, let's talk about what'll happen if
figured I'd
you give
sit here and
everyone
enjoy
the
some
ability
chocolate.
to skip to level 58.
Oh,
At least right
wow.
now.
I don't know if I'm coming back tomorrow afternoon or not. They don't have me
scheduled
scheduled to come back, and Ed's the one that did the schedule,
A lot
so.
of them don't get caught, but a lot of them also do.
Oh, they have
enter.
people scheduled to come back now?
They've been having the clerks throw in the afternoon now.
If you're unchecked, it might take about a week to level high.
We don't come back at all.
Depends on the bot.
But that could
Give or take a couple
change
days.
in the blink of an eye, 'cause like everything else does around there.
Uh-huh.
That's a damn good thing I get paid so much money.
I did not think about that at all. Fuck.
Is time spent leveling, aka
The work environment there is way worse than Walmart ever was.
math, which I'll derive from
What do you mean?
because they actually made a
Just
mistake.
all the fucking random stupid shit that goes on around there. It's just Walmart wasn't anywhere near as bad as this.
It takes
Well,
each
it's not
bot 200
corporate.
hours to get to level
Yeah.
58, which I think is a fair estimate.
It's a government
That's 2
job.
million gold and 2 million hours of botting. However, bringing in the boost, you're already at gold status, and at this level, maybe you farm 100 gold per hour. So let's take that 200-hour investment. Now you've gone from 2 million gold to 200 million gold. But what's that I hear you say? The boost costs money? Well, yeah, they do, but again, using the same post, let's assume gold sells for $15 per 1,000 gold. So that's $30,000 from gold farmed from 1 to 58. And with boosts, this is 3 million, assuming that the price of the boosts are $40, which I think is also fair. That's a $400,000 investment, and you take that away from 3 million from the money earned from botting at 58, you're netting 2.6 million. It's 86 times.
I
more
want those
expensive
drops.
than leveling from scratch. Jeez. Those
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is really, really fucking good. I think this is what happens whenever you have, like, for example, you have these boosts. It makes it so much easier for people to just get up to the max level and not have to worry about it at all. It's actually crazy. Because, like, if you can just boost up, you don't have to amortize the value of leveling. You can just make the money immediately.
goblins weren't kidding.
This is money, friend. It
And
sure
just so
is.
you know, I'm doing you a favor here and assuming that people will pay full retail price for the boost anyways.
They will.
Which won't happen. I won't speak too much of it, but there's a way that's been around for all of Vanilla Classic where people can basically get accounts for $4 a month. And assuming that the boost is $40 still, it's actually around $8
I don't know how to
using
do
this
that.
method.
I have
Which
no idea.
most assuredly will happen because it's been happening for the past year and a half. But regardless of all of that, there's no way that you can argue that starting off at level 58 doesn't give these bots an enormous head start. At least if they level, you do have time to catch them.
'Cause they're
and
gonna have
stop
gear.
them before they do any damage. At 58, it's straight into the Blackrock depth.
It's kind of like, you know how, like, a fucking frog will lay their eggs in, you know, like a small little patch of like dirt, and then the eggs become tadpoles and they have to swim out and like kind of get into the water. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so yeah, there's certain frogs that do this. And we could also use like was it crabs that like the little baby no, it's turtles. How about we use turtles? Yeah, a turtle made it to the water, right? And the turtles have to get to the water.